three.
Number three. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Number three. We made it this far, Badger. I can't believe it. But yeah, man. How are you? Are you good? Got the lovely Badger here with me.
Yeah, man. I'm all cool, son. All good, but just been doing a lot of studying recently for writing and stuff like that to help me out for when I eventually go to film school.
Oh yeah,
And
man.
yeah, it's going really well. I'm liking it. So yeah, it's pretty much been what I've been up to nowadays, man. What are you saying?
Not much. Nothing of any worth really. But one thing I have got coming up is I'm doing a podcast later on tonight with some guys called Spoilers. They have a channel on Spotify. We're doing Dark City from '98. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we're going to go in depth on that. I'm a bit nervous for it, but I'm sure it'll be okay.
Why are you nervous, Alice?
I don't know, mate. I've never done anything like that before. It's an extensive sort of like breakdown of the film. So, but I couldn't say no when they asked. So we'll see how that one goes, man.
Right. Good luck, man. I look forward to it. It's going to be great.
Thank you very much, bro. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, we're doing today. So we're not doing any movie news or anything like that. Save that for another time. We're going to get straight into this list. And we were having a conversation back and forth. What should we do this week? I know it's been a bit of a while since we've done our last podcast, but life gets in the way, man. But anyway, we had back and forth about what we were going to do this week, and we've come to the conclusion we're doing underrated and unpopular movie opinions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to this, really, man. We're going to anger so many people. Well, at least I will be when I talk about the films that I think are overrated, at least. People are going to want to stone me, dude.
Yeah, the only mission today is to get everyone to stone our houses, I think. Chuck eggs at our houses. We'll see how we get on.
Yeah, that's the one, man.
Yeah. So how do you want to do this? I was thinking we'll go... Well, I don't know. How do you want to do it? 3 each? Then we'll go down to 2. Are we going to do a list of 10? See, we're well prepared here, guys.
Give me a sec. I've got the list here on my phone. You know what? I reckon you should just begin. Do your 10, dude. I want to hear it. Because we did this with the last episode where we took turns talking about our favorite, movies, favorite directors, and I liked shutting up for a good 20 minutes and hearing what you had to say. So I want to do that again.
I can't do all 10 in one go. We'll do 5 each. How was about
that? Okay, fine.
It might end up being quick if we do that, but anyway, we'll see how we get on. Right, I'm just going to go for it. Number 1, Out of Nowhere. So this is a movie that came out in 2006, and it is the reboot of The Omen.
Oh, crikey! Okay.
Yeah.
When you said Out of Nowhere, I thought it was the film. Okay,
oh, sorry, no. It's just right. So this list of 10, everyone. It's a very random list. Like this was just off the cuff sort of thing. There's a couple of movies on here that I've scribbled out 3 times and put a different movie. But anyway, The Omen, 2006. I watched it recently again. And I've got to admit, although I do love the original by Richard Donner, it's like a classic of the genre. I do really like this remake, and I think it gets I don't know, it's got a 20% on Rotten Tomatoes or something, so it's not regarded as a well-loved film whatsoever. But I really like the performances in it. I remember being pretty scared by this film back in the day. 2006, how old was I? I was 10 when this came out, so but I was well into watching films at that point. So when I watched this, there's just some great little things that are there in the background. There's this great shot and it's of one of the priests talking, and he's in front of a bridge and it's raining. And just in the background, there's this figure that runs across the screen, and it always just stuck with me. And it's just little things like that on the rewatch, you end up picking them up and you're whoa, that didn't look right there. I think it's got some genuinely like good scares in it, like the bit where they go and dig up the jackals and stuff like that. It's
Completely agree with everything you're saying. I'm trying not to interrupt you, but I actually agree with everything you're saying.
all right, good.
Everything.
Yeah. All right, sound.
including
I didn't know if I
including
was
the
going off on
jackal.
one there. Yeah. But I think
Not
that's
at
really
all.
good, man. It's pretty tense. I remember. I think what it is just because the original is such a classic, which it totally is. I'm not taking anything away from that, but I never turn my nose up at reboots or remakes or anything because the original is always there. So I don't find it to be a major problem. But
Fair enough.
yeah, any opinions on that one, Badger?
Yeah, well, pretty much. I saw the original Omen when I was 11, and I was discombobulated as fuck when watching it because my birth name is Damien. This was
Oh
before I
right,
was known
yeah.
as Badger. Yeah. This was before I was known as Badger. So yeah, it was quite weird for me watching this nasty little bastard demon kid getting screamed at all the time, and I'm just there like a dog trying to bear like, me. It was weird, but it terrified me. I mean, it fucked me up. I mean, I couldn't sleep alone for a good month or two after. I was fucked. It screwed my head. And that didn't stop me from loving it. It's just that I wasn't able to watch it again till I was like in my, I think I was 16 when I was finally able to watch it again. It fucked with my head. Yeah, I do love it. I also went to uni in Guildford where it was some of the scenes were filmed. The scene in the original where Damien is in the car and he goes nuts at the church, the car's
Oh
going up the
yeah,
hill
yeah,
toward
yeah.
the church. I lived pretty close to it. I was there. I was walking past that church all the time in the churchyard just to get to uni. So that
Oh,
was
cool, man.
weird. But yeah, I'm an avid fan of it. Huge fan of that film. And the remake, I'm actually not as much of a fan of it as you are. Personally, I'm bloody confused by why it was so remarkably similar to the original. However, the reason why I respected it so much is because I'm not a fan of the sequels to the original. And I was
Yeah.
thinking, okay, maybe now we can go down a better way and we can get some better sequels now, right? Nope. Didn't happen. So I'm like, oh, fuck's sake. But I still do kind of dig the remake. It's pointless in my opinion, but some of it I actually do like. For example, the Jackal scene, I think's fucking scary as shit. I think it's actually very well done than the remake. I think the remake actually nailed it possibly better than the original film did. Um, that Jackal scene where they're in the graveyard, man, it just unnerved me. But some of the death scenes are a lot more terrifying. The wife's death, for example, was a hell of a lot worse. But yeah, I do agree with most of what you're saying, dude. I'm okay with that film, that remake. It's got nothing on the original though. Fuck no, I'm never ever will. But yeah,
No, it doesn't. And yeah, the sequels to like the OG one, they weren't great. I don't mind Final Conflict with is it Mark Hamill? No, it isn't. Sam Neill, sorry. Um,
okay,
that's
yeah.
the third one. That's when he's like growing up. I don't mind that film. That's okay. The second one's a bit hit or miss, but yeah, that's that was my number one pick. Number two, I think we might agree, but then again disagree as well. But you'll know it. Chronicles of Riddick, 2004.
No, I don't agree. Trust me, I'm an avid fan of
Right.
Riddick, and I
Yeah, I know
won't
you
lie.
are.
I've watched it, dude. I've watched that second one like well over 20 times, so it's done something right. But nah, for me, what bugged me the most is how they changed the mythology of Riddick and all that. It's not my scene, but it's mediocre for me. It's like it does half of everything right. It's like a 5 out of 10 for me. It's not a bad film. As I said, seen it 20 times, more than 20 times. Clearly, it did something right. Clearly.
Yeah, I can only go off the amount of times I used to watch it when I was like younger. Like for me, it's the more I don't know. It's a lot more ambitious than Pitch Black or Riddick.
I agree with that.
I don't think it like meets the levels that it's wanting to meet. Like it's ambitious, but it doesn't necessarily get there. It gives it a good go, but I don't know. Like I think one of the major problems with it is that the first act where like it's set in the city and stuff, the city doesn't look great. It looks a bit TV budget. But I think everything else, like the prison and when they're escaping the prison, I think that's all pretty good stuff. I like Carl Urban in the role. But yeah, man, I think it's just a solid adventure film. It's a bit more, and I don't know, it's got a solid opening as well. The intro is great. Where the bounty hunters, yeah, man, that does rock that scene. But I honestly, I've watched Chronicles of Riddick more than I've watched Pitch Black. Put it that way. But I do love Pitch Black. I do love it. Like that was obviously the first one I saw, and that got me invested in the character. I think personally, like Vin Diesel should get back on the Riddick train, and I think there's plenty of time for it because I think you can revisit that character even when he's old. Imagine like an old man Riddick. That'd be great when Vin Diesel's been after he gets the Fast and Furious franchise gone. Just get that out of the way.
The fourth one has already been written. It was written years ago. It's called Furia, named after Riddick's home planet, and it's on its way. It's on its way.
That'd be good.
Yeah, I look forward to it. I'm a bit nervous, because the whole Furia aspect is my least favorite part of all of this. The prison scene in Chronicles of Riddick, I'm in love with that part. I think that's bloody awesome.
Yeah.
And I wish the whole film was like that. For me, the biggest issue was how they just changed the mythology. It was so... Just here's an example. With Pitch Black, Riddick, like, dislocated his arms, right? In order to remove himself from the those chains. And it's so... It's horrible, man. It's so dark and grim. But it feels like gritty. You know what I mean? It feels dirty. It feels so... it's dirty, it's not so clean. But then you got stuff like the part where he does that awesome move in the prison where he's on the chain and he like untangles himself. Do you remember that scene where he's dangling?
Yeah, I love that scene.
No, it's like a cool concept, and I've never seen anyone break out of chains that way. That's cool.
Oh yeah, but just the way cool. Yeah. I forgot he broke out the chains as well. That's brilliant. Yeah. I think it's conceptually it's cool, but it's just like the simple fact that when he lands, he does this like random roly-poly and lands perfectly on his feet, and he can just predict where people are coming without looking, and he's like a ninja. And I'm just looking at it like, look, dude, I might be nitpicking, but it just feels too perfect, too clean. It feels too kiddish. Plus the way that they make him, like his eyes, it turns out they weren't surgically done. He was born that way because all Furians have these eyes. And I'm just like, no, dude, all of this whole ghost shit, like, not that I'm an atheist or anything, it's just that all these like ghost spirit shit that they did, I'm just not a fan, man. With the first one, it felt grounded in our reality, set in the future, but it did. Like the guns looked a lot like ours, the clothes did. That second one, dude, it just feels so weird to me. It's so wrong. I'm just not really a fan, man. Yeah, I'll totally agree with you there. It does get bogged down in its own sort of, I don't
mythology.
know. Yeah, and you're right, as in it changing the mythology. It was much more interesting when you thought that he'd had them surgically implanted. Made you think, my God, this guy is like went to that extreme to be like the ultimate killer. But yes. Then it goes.
And even better, in the first one, he actually explained how he got them. What did it cost him? What did it cost him? Do you remember what he had to do to get the eyes?
I can't remember, no. Go on.
You dig up a doctor and you pay him 20 menthol cools to do a surgical shine job on your eyeballs. 20 menthol cools. 20 menthol cools. Cigarettes.
Yeah, man.
Cigarettes. Brilliant. That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
That. Yeah, that's cool, man.
I absolutely love it. The first one means the world to me. And the second one is my least favorite. But you know what, dude? I don't hate it. Plus, no matter how bad things do get for me, Vin Diesel, man, he was always so good in this role. So good.
I'm so annoyed that it just, the franchise didn't get bigger, and that was the one that we were going Riddick sequel number 10. Do you know what I mean? Instead, we've gone with like the Fast and the Furious. But anyway, that's a conversation for a different day.
Yeah. Fair.
Right, next film. I don't know whether it's regarded as underrated or not, but I'm going with it. Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
I can't comment on this. So yeah,
Have you not seen
continue.
it?
Pretty much, I've obviously like everyone, I'm a big fan of the recent one, Mad Max Fury Road, the fourth one, and the original. I've always dug. It was dated back when I saw it when I was a kid. It felt very strange and dated. And anyone who's never seen it, but they have seen the recent Mad Max, and they're like, "Oh, I wonder where this came from." They're gonna be so fucking confused when they go back. The first
Oh
one's
yeah,
so ancient
totally.
now.
If you end up watching Fury Road, then going back and watching the first Mad Max, you're going to be like, "Pardon, what?"
Yeah, exactly. I know.
Yeah.
But I still like it though. I still respect it. It's not a film's fault when it ages, is it?
No,
But I never saw the sequels after that though, dude. Didn't see the second or third one, man. Need
what,
to
the
watch
Road
them.
Warrior?
Yeah, I haven't
All
seen
right,
any of them.
all
I've only
right,
seen the
right.
original and I've seen the Tom Hardy one. That's it. I need to
Well,
check
the
them out.
film
I
I'm
will
about to
do.
talk, the film I'm about to talk to, fuck that one off. Just go and watch the Road Warrior, man. Make sure you watch that one, if anyone.
Yeah, fair.
But anyway, Thunderdome. I won't
It's the
spend.
third one, isn't it?
Yeah, won't spend long on it. It's still directed by George Miller. Came out,
Mm-hmm.
when did this one came out? 85, I think. I don't know if that sounds right, but anyway, directed by George Miller, starring Mel Gibson. I don't know. I think the biggest flaw with this film and why people just like switch off when they talk about it is because it's got a great start. It starts off in like Bartertown, where like it feels very authentic to the Mad Max world in the wasteland.
Okay.
Like all the costumes, the practical sets, the designs, it all looks spot on, and it grabs you right from the beginning. But then halfway through the film, it switches to like Lord of the Flies, The Goonies meets Mad Max. It turns into like a kid's adventure film halfway through. Yeah,
Really?
it's a bit jarring, but well, very jarring. If you followed the first Mad Max film, then went into the Road Warrior. Now we're halfway through the third film, and everything seems fine. Then it does this massive U-turn and turns into a kid's adventure film, which George Miller, like George Miller, can do that as well. Like I'm not a big fan, but he's done films like Happy Feet. He done Babe as well, didn't he?
I did not know that he did any of those films.
Yeah. So he can do family and kids orientated, but like we don't really want that in a Mad Max film. However, I don't mind it because I do like the Goonies. Like I like that kids adventure thing, and so when it's like injected in this Mad Max film, I don't necessarily hate it. It does halt the film to a grinding like a pace that just isn't good. But then it does get back into like a ridiculously good action scene, chase scene at the end, and sort of brings it all back around again. But yeah, man, it's got an amazing tie-in song with Tina Turner as well. I love that 80s nostalgia. Like it's just
You've
so
got me
good.
intrigued. I
Oh,
need to
mate,
see this now.
it's good, man. It's like everything with Tina Turner and Bartertown and that whole thing's like you just can't help but appreciate it, and it feels just like that's the Mad Max film that we went to go and watch, but then it turned into the Goonies. So it's a bit, I don't know. It's not the most loved out of all the films, but yeah, I'll go on my next one then.
Yeah, of course. You got two more to go, I think. So yeah.
Yeah, I've got two more to go. Right. So right, The Dark Knight Rises.
Okay. I think it's popular enough, isn't it?
Is it though? If you ask someone what's their least favorite out of the trilogy, I reckon 98% of that target audience are going to say that Rises is the worst.
Fair, fair. Fair
So that's
enough.
all I'm going off. I try to mix my list up a little bit. Like I haven't got this much of a say on The Dark Knight Rises, but I really enjoyed it when I went to see it in the cinema. And I know it's got loads of like sort of this backwash of like hate after it with like plot holes and stuff like that. Like the one that always annoys me that everyone always says, like, and I get it to a certain extent, but like, oh, how did Bruce Wayne get back to Gotham City after he escaped wherever they were? Where the hell were they? They were in that prison, weren't they? That Bane locked them up in. But
I don't remember.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably, if you don't remember, it can't be that good. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's
No, I just don't
one that
remember
I
the
think
name.
it's one that gets like forgotten a lot about the trilogy. But I don't know. I think Tom Hardy's performance as Bane's quality. I think it's pretty
I agree.
underestimated. The only thing I don't like about the movie is Anne Hathaway as Catwoman. That just doesn't do anything for me at all. But
I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it.
no, it was fine. It was just, I don't know. I don't think I'm that overwhelmed with Anne Hathaway as an actress, to be honest. But
Oh wow, okay, fair enough. I disagree with you on that one completely. I'm a big fan of her work.
no, totally, total opposite on that one. But anyway, number 5. I'm going at number 5 is Terminator Salvation.
Mm-hmm. That one is on my list as well. I will talk in a lot more depth when it's my turn to talk about it.
If I'm ranking the Terminator franchise, it's T2, T1, then Terminator Salvation.
Mm-hmm.
Then probably Rise of the Machines.
Yeah, but I think I'd swap the two. I think I would. I think
You'd
I'd
go
swap
Rise of the Machines?
Possibly, possibly.
I like
But
it.
it's not an obvious choice. It's not an obvious choice. I might prefer that to Salvation, but it's definitely not an obvious choice.
I could
There's
swap
too
them
many good
any
points.
day of the week, probably. I do have a lot of love for Rise of the Machines, to be honest. The other two,
Same.
still haven't seen one of them in full. Genesis. Yeah. And what's the other one? Oh, Dark Fate. Yeah, I rewatched that again recently. That's fucking terrible film. I hate it.
Oh, God, yeah.
I think I was like, I just posted it recently on my Instagram, and to be honest, I was writing it up, and when I wrote it up, I was like, bloody hell, I could have probably went harder on that film than what I did, to be fair. But I'm not gonna cause any fights.
Yeah, fair.
Because I was shocked. Like sometimes, like I don't know if you find this on your Instagram page, but sometimes you can gauge the love of a film by like the comments you get. And that was one of the photos that got like loads of comments like, "Oh, I really like this film." I don't know whether it's because of like, I don't know. It got a lot of love anyway, and I was like, "Where the hell is this coming from?" But
hey, people are allowed to enjoy what they enjoy.
oh my God, no, it's not that. It's more. Have I not seen? Is it something that I haven't seen with the film? Do you know what I mean? Or is there something I'm not picking up in the film when I watch it? But anyway. But yeah, that's 5 from me. Do you want to go for 5?
Yeah, go for. Well, look, I'll say some dead quick honorable mentions just real quick. I'm not gonna go into any details because I've mentioned this shit the last 2 videos, but obviously, shocker, Glass, yeah, blah blah blah. We all know. I'm an avid fan of the Unbreakable trilogy like crazy. Glass, I think, is very underrated. Took me a while to fall in love with the ending, but I do appreciate it a lot more now. I think give it enough time, it will be regarded in a much higher light, so to speak. This one I know you're gonna love. This again is an honorable mention. It's Judge Dredd, the 1995 one.
I couldn't put that on the list because I've talked way too much about it recently, but that would be on the list.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, Judge Dredd. Look, I just like you. I don't really know if our opinions really like do count because I'm not familiar with the comic books either. So yeah, I guess it is. It must be very disrespectful to the comic books if people hate it that much. But I've always enjoyed it. I always hated Rob Schneider in it, but outside of that, I think it's well done. I like the effects. To this day, I think the effects look good. I like it. It's fun. I have a laugh all day. I'm a fan of it. I like it. And another honorable mention, Hollow Man. I cannot believe everyone hates it as much as they do. I have a laugh with it. I don't agree with you in the sense when it comes to the Invisible Man and shit. You prefer Hollow Man to that recent film, The Invisible Man, don't you?
Whoa, right, hang on. Just hold the phone a minute. Yeah. I recently watched the newer Invisible Man. Fuck me, that's a fucking good movie, man.
Oh, so you like it more now, do you?
Right. Okay. So I've only watched it once before, and I must have been like half asleep when I was watching it because to me it was just quite generic. But after watching it the other night, oh my God, like I had proper fun with it. Like I've done a U-turn on that one. It's a much
cool.
Yeah,
cool.
It's a much superior film than Hollow Man. I think Hollow Man, for me, while it is still entertaining and good, nostalgia. I think I watched that when I was really
Okay.
young, a little bit.
I didn't, so okay.
Oh right, yeah, that was one I watched quite young. I watched it
Mhm.
recently, and it was a bit. I don't know. The effects were okay, but yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah, of
anyway,
course. Yeah, but yeah, Invisible Man I do prefer, absolutely, but I still do. By the way, I want to say this dead quick. The coolest thing that I haven't heard enough people address about the Invisible Man, is that it answers a problem that, a flaw at least in logic that's happened with all films about people who go invisible, based on the science of like the eye. If your whole body literally went invisible, you would go blind. Based, I think it's the optic nerve, if I remember correctly, but you would actually go blind. If your whole body went invisible, you just would not be able to see. This new film answers that by making the Invisible Man a fucking suit. And I like it. And I think that suit, by the way, looks creepy as shit.
looks brilliant.
Creepy as fuck.
Yeah, I thought
Love
that.
it. But
I thought
yeah,
it looked ace. Yeah.
I'm not an avid fan of the film, but I really, really like it. Lee Whannell, man. I'm in love with that guy. When he did that film, Upgrade, Mamma Mia,
Oh,
Mamma Mia.
I didn't
Love it.
realize that was the same director. Yeah, that's
Oh,
class.
yeah. Love Upgrade. But yeah, another real quick honorable mention. I'm just going to say it quick before I get into the list. And I'm mentioning this because I realized how right you were. We started speaking about this before I rewatched it. It's Matrix Reloaded.
All right. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I hadn't seen it for about 12 years. Hadn't seen any of the Matrix films for 12 years, and I rewatched them all recently. And I remember saying to you, because I still haven't seen the fourth one yet. I still haven't seen the fourth Matrix film. I've avoided it because I just don't want to get disappointed. I'm like, oh, fuck it. But the thing is that, yeah, I remember thinking to myself that I'm pissed off. What I want them to do is just delete all of the sequels and just do a direct sequel to the first one where, where Neo is now in his 50s.
Yeah.
But I remember you said, nah, man, Matrix Reloaded is a banger. So I rewatched it recently and I was like, shit, man, he's right. I don't want this to get deleted. I actually really do dig it. It gets a lot crappier toward the end. And there are loads of things that I wish were removed, and I don't love it. I don't love it because there's too many problems with it. But god damn, it was a hell of a lot better than I remember it being.
Yeah.
The first half of it, I think, is brilliant. I think it's great. Love it.
What about that car chase scene at the end? I think it's one of the best put to film, to be honest.
I completely agree with that, and I was shocked because I didn't remember any of it.
Yeah,
Didn't remember. I was like, well, and not just that, dude. It came out in 2003. Still looks good.
Yeah,
Surprised.
that highway that they're on, they built that from scratch. Like that's
Incredible.
Like, it's amazing.
Incredible.
There's like background, behind the scenes footage of Trinity, actually riding that bike. So it's all like legit. It's awesome, man. Like I know it's heavy on CG, but it's not just CGI. There's a good blend of practical and CGI.
And
yeah,
the part where we disagree on is that I, like many people, I freaking cannot stand the third one. Rewatched it recently, and I was like, yeah, this is why I haven't watched it in 12 years. It sucked me dry. My energy just got sucked dry. Literally, when I finished it a few months ago, I literally said this when the credits went up. Fuck this film, man. I literally said it out loud. I cannot stand it, but I'm glad you enjoy it more than I do. I'm glad you do. But yeah, but still, considering that I've spent enough time talking about honorable mentions, I'm going to simplify this list big time now. So look, number 10 is Human Centipede.
all right, cool.
Yeah, no one was expecting that because it's obviously not exactly a tasteful film. No pun intended. Yuck. but at the end of the day, I think it's flawed as shit with the two main women who were in it. They were terrible. They gave terrible performances. The characters were just lame. But the main villain was absolutely terrifying. He scared the bejesus out of me. Still does to this day. Performance was great. The concept was scary. And I think it was quite unique once they do get sewn together. There are loads of scenes incorporated that I've never seen before, and I thought it was effectively scary. Tom Six, sadly, not only does he feel kind of amateurish when he makes his films, he also feels quite immature, childish. Because even with the sequels, which I do like more than most people, they are quite unique. They are tasteless. They're just tacky with a lot of stupidity and immaturity in them. Just gross crap. So whatever. I still do think, though, overall, those films are a lot better than most people say. Number 9 is End of Days.
Oh
Um,
yeah, man.
yeah, loads of people hated it. I've never once hated it. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger gave a solid performance in it as a depressed cop who's mourning his wife and child. And I think it's got one of the best portrayals of Satan I've ever seen in a film. Gabriel Byrne was incredible. I like the action scenes and the strange, non-conventional atmosphere of it's fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger, a 90s action film that has Satan in it. It's weird. It's a strange film, but I don't hate it like a load of people do. I've watched loads of reviews of people explaining why it's so crap. Never seen it. I think it's effectively creepy.
I
I like it a
concur
lot.
with everything you say on that one. I think it's always
Cool, man.
brilliant. Can I just add something to this? Like, can you remember?
Please.
Can you remember the like one of the opening scenes with Arnold Schwarzenegger where he's like in his apartment and he makes that breakfast? Oh
They say breakfast
my
is the most important meal of
god!
the day.
Oh man, that stuck with
he
me so
picks up
hard in that film, man. You take yeah,
he,
that bit of chicken.
off the
You just
floor.
like, yeah, man. What the fuck
He
is
picked
it?
it up off the fucking floor, man. He picked it
Yeah.
up off the floor and he blended it. Ugh.
That'll
Dude.
scar me for life. That whole scene. But yeah, man,
Uh,
that's a great film. I've always loved that film. I like the score in it,
mm.
really good. I think the
Oh yeah, dude, the score is so good in it, man. It's so good. It's so creepy, man.
yeah,
So creepy.
it lends itself to the film really, really well. Um,
Mhm.
I've actually got the End of Days soundtrack on CD somewhere down here.
Oh,
I'll have to
really?
post. Yeah, I'll have to post it on there. It's somewhere down
Oh,
here.
great.
Yeah, but yeah, but
Great.
great film. Love that one, man. Great pick.
Yeah, I also, speaking of the soundtrack as well, I want to say real quick, it also perfectly conveyed how sad it was because it's an action film that's actually sad. There's a lot of sad scenes in there. For example, I freaking love that alleyway scene where it's raining and Arnold Schwarzenegger gets the piss beaten out of him.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I think it's such a grim scene, and then he gets crucified. But the music in the background that plays during it, I think it's so creepy. It conveyed the sincerity of it all, how sad it was. I'm a fan of it. I like it.
Can I just say as well,
So
with
yeah.
Arnie in that film, he's not like he's quite underpowered compared to his other films. He's
Oh
normally
yeah.
like you're
Mm-hmm.
saying, he gets beat up in that alley, but there's never a time where he has everything under control. He gets the shit kicked out of him quite a lot in the film. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, no, it's a good one
Mm-hmm.
for Arnie. It's like a bit off the beaten path that he was taking in the late 80s and early 90s. So yeah, you should watch that one.
Non-conventional.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it. Very underrated. Very underrated. The next one, cannot believe how much it was hated. Um, Number 8 is Jurassic Park: The Lost World, the second one.
I was gonna put that on my list, but I didn't. It was on an honorable
Mm.
mention, but
Mhm.
go ahead, man. Great pick.
So yeah, unlike a lot of people, I'm not the craziest fan of Jurassic Park. And bear in mind, I was raised with it, so I've got crazy nostalgia with it. However, I do still freaking love it. It's like a 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10. I'm in love with that film. And the second one, I never grew up out of it. I've always appreciated it so much, right? Jeff Goldblum coming back this time as the main character was wonderful. It has some of the greatest scenes I've ever seen in a 90s film when it comes to tense action. That scene where they're dangling off the cliff and you've got two T-Rexes like coming after them, I thought was wonderful.
It's a masterclass. It's like a Spielberg special. Like it's phenomenal. Yeah, but yeah, go on.
I'm in love with it. I think it is legit brilliant filmmaking. It's not as good as the first one, but there's never been another Jurassic Park film that I think is as good as it, apart from the first one, of course. I think it's freaking brilliant. Sure, that scene with the whole acrobatic like shit where she's swinging on the poles and kicks the Velociraptor is dumb, but for fuck's sake, it's less than 10 seconds in a 2 hour long movie. I don't care. It's effective as fuck. I'm a real big fan of it. I might not be the biggest fan of the last part where the T-Rex is in the city. It feels a bit corny, but I still like it. I still like it. I'm a real big fan of that film. I think it's brilliant filmmaking. So I do not get the hatred for it, man. Don't get it at all. Never did.
Don't.
I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, I never will either, man. Like it's wild because I feel like there really isn't that much difference in them both. But people, like, I'm like you. It's not. I grew up with Jurassic Park, but it wasn't something that I gravitated towards when I was younger. I always appreciated. But one thing I will say is that I always preferred Jeff Goldblum over Sam Neill as a lead protagonist. But I know I'm on an island with that one, maybe. But
You know what, buddy? You know what, buddy? It's a real privilege to keep you company on that island, man. We'll have to get a campfire going. We'll have to get the campfire going.
Yeah.
Yeah, number 7. So this is something that a lot of people don't know about me. There's a certain type of film that I always gravitate towards, that I've got a serious soft spot for, and it's black, as in like ethnic, black urban movies that are set in like ghettos. I tend to be in love with them. We're talking films like Boys in the Hood, for example, or England's version of Boys in the Hood, Cannot Hood. I love all of this. Do the Right Thing. These films I'm just addicted to. I don't know why. I've got no idea why, but I do know where it began. It began when I was 6 years old, and my mother bought Friday on VHS with Chris Tucker and Ice Cube. Now, it began with that. I've got a soft spot for this whole thing, and what I love about Friday is how it was it's set like in a dark environment. It's like fucking Compton, for crying out loud. It's pretty dark, it's unpleasant, but Ice Cube wrote that film, and he wrote it to show, hey, we did have some good times growing up there though, right? Wonderful film, one of the best films I've ever seen. Now, the sequels dip after that, and they actually get a bit goofy at times as well, especially the second one. However, the third one, Friday After Next, which is a film that loads of people hate, I do not see it at all. That one, I think, is freaking great. Funny as fuck. It continued the story pretty well. The characters were remarkably quotable, and the jokes completely landed for me. I'm in love with that film. Nowhere near as good as the first one, but Friday After Next has to be number 7 for me. I've got a big soft spot for me, and I don't know why everyone hated it so much. But yeah, number 6, then I'll move on to this one. It was respected when it came out, but nowhere near as much as I think it should have been. Number 6 is Trainspotting 2.
All right, yeah, I can get down with
So
that.
yeah. So obviously, like everyone, I'm in love with Trainspotting, like anyone. And by the way, in our last video when we spoke about our favorite directors, I forgot to mention Danny Boyle because I fucking love that guy. And yeah, I'm a big fan of his stuff, even his stuff that wasn't too well ranked up there, like The Beach. I thought it was fucking brilliant. But yeah, Trainspotting 2, I think it's one of the greatest sequels I've ever seen. I think it's fucking remarkable how it aged the characters and how it had a great message about sort your life out, man, because you're gonna fuck it up if you don't get on it, man. I thought it was powerful. The only parts of it I didn't like was the character of Begbie. I loved him in it, but it was a strange plot device to have him escape prison in the beginning, and the police never seem to be looking for him, or they don't go to the most obvious places where he'd be. No one spots him. It's such a strange plot choice. I don't get it, but whatever. At the end of the day, I think it's remarkable. And had it not been for that whole Begbie part, they should have just had him released from prison in the intro, and that would have been it. Still, at the end of the day, remove that part, I'd say it was just as good as the first Trainspotting. I am in love with it. It's one of the greatest sequels I've ever seen. I love Trainspotting 2. And that's number 6.
I've only seen it the once. I saw it once when it first came out, but I think I need to give it a rewatch. I do own it, so I can. I was meaning to do a post on both of them, to be fair, because I haven't seen the second one in a while. So I was doing the first one out of get me to watch the second one. But yeah, man, I'll give it I'll give it a go.
I will never ever again watch the first one and then not watch the second one straight after.
Yeah.
Never. That it's changed. It's changed my watching experience with the original. I watched the first one, I'm watching the second one pretty soon after.
Complements the first movie quite well, does it?
For me, perfectly. Pretty much perfectly. I mean, I'm addicted to it. It's one of the best sequels I've ever seen. It more than delivered. It was well received when it came out. Not high enough as far as I'm concerned.
Cool,
not as much as I'm concerned. Cool, but yeah, that's from 10 to 6 there, man. So yeah, do you want to go from 5 onwards?
Right, yeah. I'll go Right, my next one is Tron Legacy from 2010.
So obviously, they're only seen the original.
Right. So I think it's a superior film to the original. I was never really a massive fan of the original with Jeff Bridges.
Me neither. Me neither.
For
Just
me,
respect it.
Yeah, I respect it, but like it was just the graphics on the original Tron just didn't really fly for me when I was a child. However, Tron Legacy, I think, is severely underrated. I think it's brilliant. It's got an absolute like blistering 10 out of 10 score by Daft Punk, which is I think absolutely amazing. Which it does elevate the film up, but I think it's got some interesting ideas in it. I think all the costume design and the design of all the ships and stuff is really cool. Gets me all hot and bothered. I do like it.
So wait, hold up. You're telling me that Daft Punk made good music? Are you sure?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm being sarcastic. They're brilliant.
I don't know what you're trying to say there, Badger.
Daft Punk are the shit. They are the shit.
Yeah, unreal. It's so good. The fact that they've split up now as well, like, makes that soundtrack even better. It's like a rare gem in the catalogue of music. I think the CGI is brilliant on the ships and stuff, but they were in the early days of like that uncanny valley situation with Jeff Bridges, so they tried to make him look pretty younger. De-aging, sorry. Yeah. Not amazing, not horrific, but it was still the early days on that one. My number 7, which I just rewatched this morning, actually, is a film that came out in 1999 called Blue Streak with Martin Lawrence. If you've ever seen that film.
Brother, I rewatched that about 8 days ago, baby. Around 8 days ago, I rewatched it again.
What a solid little number that is.
I'm so happy you've said that.
Yeah. So basically, I'd highly recommend this one because I bet a lot of people haven't seen it. So this one came out just sort of after Bad Boys, and it's still in the right premise of the story is that Martin Lawrence plays a thief, and they're robbing a massive diamond at the beginning of the film, but the police end up coming. They try and run away, and Martin Lawrence hides this diamond across the street in like an abandoned building that's like in the middle of being reconstructed into something else. Martin Lawrence gets captured. He's hid this diamond in the building. He goes to prison for 6 months or a year or whatever it was. Actually, no, it was 4 years. He went to prison for 4 years. He comes back, and when he comes back, the building that he's left the diamond in is now a police building, a police station. So it's basically Martin Lawrence goes undercover as he goes a thief undercover as a detective trying to get this diamond back. It's fucking brilliant. It's awesome.
What a great plot, man. What a great plot. So good.
The premise is brilliant. It's such a good premise. And Martin Lawrence is really funny in it. Really funny.
Dude, that film is a banger, man. There's so many quotes in there that I love. That whole "he's high" scene that I love. That nerdy cop, and dude,
yeah, Luke was he called Luke Gross? But yeah, he's high. Yeah, it's so good. Brilliant.
Believe that. Oh, brilliant. Dude, I'll tell you what as well. One of my favorite stand-up comedians ever, Dave Chappelle. How good was he in that film?
Awesome in that film. Yeah, it was Charlie the Getaway Driver. It's so good, Christ, man.
Yeah. So who's this guy, Logan? All I can tell you, sir, is that he's gay. Gay.
Yeah.
Dude,
oh man, so good.
Like,
so
people who haven't seen it are gonna be so confused by it right now. But if they have seen it, they know.
I guarantee they're gonna love it though. If they've not seen it and they're like, "Oh, I might just watch that," I bet they love it.
But just dead quick as well, there's another Martin Lawrence film that came out a couple years before called Nothing to Lose. I think that one's very, very underrated as well. It has Tim Robbins in it. That one's solid. That one's another really good one.
I'll check that out.
Oh, dude, really funny, man. He's just a thief. Martin Lawrence is a thief, and Tim Robbins has nothing to lose. Hence the title is he thinks his wife's cheating on him and all that, and he just drives away in the desert to get away from it all. Martin Lawrence tries to steal his car, but Tim Robbins doesn't care. Well, still, I don't care. Fuck you. And an unlikely friendship forms, and it's very funny. That's a really good one, man. Check that one out. It's
I'll
good.
check that out, man. I'll check that out.
It's
definitely.
good. It's good, man. It's good.
My number 8, last action hero. Obviously, like within our community, it's obviously quite enamored, but now it is. I don't think it always was. I've held this in like mega high regard since the first time I ever watched it. I think it's pretty much close to being pitch perfect in every way. The only thing it doesn't have is like over the top violence with any blood or anything like that, but it was never aiming to really be that. I think it gets pretty violent at the end, but
can I interject and answer the reason like why it doesn't get all gory? That's because it's smarter. It's much more intelligent than that. It's fucking brilliant.
I think, like I said, I think they were really expecting this film to like be humongous. Like they released loads of like toys and stuff with it. There was a full toy line that came out. There were some brilliant figures on it as well. Like you know, the scene where he turns into Hamlet and he's like got the skull. There's like an action figure of that you can get, which I'm definitely gonna own at some point in my life. But
who said I'm fair?
Yeah, to be or not to be.
Not to be.
To be. But yeah, it's awesome, man. I love it. Like, I love the color palette of the whole thing. Like the obviously when like is it Danny goes in when he finally goes into the movie, Jack Slater, and the way the color shifts when he's in movie land, everything turns bright and the saturation contrast gets turned right up. It's quality, man. Brilliant film, really funny. The action's good in it. Solid action adventure movie. But yeah, like that, I think that bombed when it came out, and I think it bombed because it came out a week after Jurassic Park came out. So that's the reason why it bombed. It was in the shadow of Jurassic Park. Maybe if it came out when it wasn't in that shadow, might have done a bit better. But
shouldn't have bombed. As great as Jurassic Park is, it shouldn't have bombed. Shouldn't have done that.
Absolutely not. My next pick, number 9, 2001, Tim Burton film, Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's bad at all.
No, people hate this film. Don't get it at all. It's not got the best performance by Mark Wahlberg, but
he's the worst part in it for me. He's not bad. He's not bad, but he is the worst part for me. He's just not interesting.
Yeah, he's anything. Like he just doesn't bring anything to the movie at all. But apart from him, I think it's brilliant. I think Tim Roth is. I can't remember what his name is in that film.
Thade.
So good. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Real. I love him. He's like so intense in that film. Yeah, man. Brings the intensity. Like I saw that in the cinema. It was one of the first movies I ever seen in the cinema. I remember going with my uncle. But it had like a lasting effect on me. It's got a brilliant score, underrated score by Danny Elfman. It's a very like you watch it, you wouldn't know it's Tim Burton who's directed it. It's got nothing of his like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's got nothing of his like color on there. Like no Tim Burton aesthetics are in there. Like whereas you watch something like
his traditions.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It doesn't look like Edward Scissorhands. It doesn't look like Batman Returns, like that sort of overly gothic architecture or anything. But yeah, I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, I'm not in love with it.
Yeah, I don't love it, but I just think it should get more credit than what it does.
Yeah, absolutely. Charlton Heston, his cameo from the original film, he was the main actor in the first original film. His cameo in there as Thade's dying father, I thought was wonderful. Michael Clarke Duncan was fantastic in it. I love his reference to the line in the original film, "Get your stinking hands off me, you damn dirty human." Love all that. Also Helena Bonham Carter. I thought she was extraordinary in it. Tim Burton's wife. I thought she was fucking fantastic. I thought she was wonderful. Yeah, I think it's a solid film. The biggest problem in that whole film for me, yeah, is I think Mark Wahlberg's character was underwritten in a big way, and his performance was a bit washy. And also, the ending was so arbitrary; like it didn't do anything, didn't make any sense. Sorry, any sense to me. But I think the film, and plus, dude, remember what I was saying about The Omen, the remake, like how I'm bugged by how similar it was? This one was so different to the original film, and I
Yeah.
respect it for trying something new, completely tried something new. It's a solid film, man. I don't think it's bad at all. Don't
No,
think it's
I didn't
bad one
mind it.
bit. Mhm.
My last pick, and then I've got some honourable mentions, but my last pick is Zodiac from David Fincher.
We are on such opposite ends here, my friend.
What way? What, do you not like that film?
I rewatched it the other day, about less than a week ago. I rewatched it, but I'm going to talk more about that film in a bit when we're talking about overrated films. Sorry. I'm sorry, man.
It
I
can't
didn't.
be overrated if I think it's underrated. Come on.
Dude,
No.
man, it's a David Fincher film that loads of people have seen love. I've seen the reviews for it, and I'm like, guys, I'm sorry. No, just no. But we'll talk about that in a bit. Go on, buddy. Go on.
I think it's phenomenal, man. I think I rewatch it every year. I think the fact it's like a 3 hour absolute odyssey for me. I'm a big fan of like films that deal with like investigation and police, and the fact that this was like a real life thing that happened. And I've watched plenty of documentaries on the Zodiac after that. There's a great if anything, if you don't like the film, maybe he's getting the Blu-ray, which will be really cheap by now. The special features are really good. It just goes into a really in-depth look at the investigation and stuff. And David Fincher got some things like he nailed it with some of the aspects of the film. I like that
Completely agree.
the fact that every time you see the killer or you see a murder happen, he uses a different actor in each killing, which I find really clever. But also, William Friedkin did that in Cruising, which came out in like the 80s. Every time there was a killing in that film, it's Cruising with Al Pacino. It's a phenomenal film, but
Still haven't seen that one. Haven't seen it.
it's great. It's great. It's a bit full on, but good film. In that film, he used a different killer with each killing, and it just does add something. It really fucks with your brain when you're watching it. So I love that aspect of it. It's got an absolute wicked soundtrack through the whole thing. All the performances are fantastic. Also, really like Jake Gyllenhaal, like, and his arc, like halfway through. I like at the beginning, he's just interested in the case, but no one's taking him seriously. But by the end of it, he's pretty much solved the case. But it's just so annoying that they can't do anything really with the information that he's provided, which is the thing that used to annoy me about the film, is that there's no real conclusion to it. It sort of just happens. And I get it. You sat there for 3 hours watching a film with no conclusion, but I don't know. I think it's a pretty good depiction of that whole case and what went down. I always find the scene with Brian Cox when they think they've got the Zodiac on the phone, but it's just like a mental patient somewhere, and he does that scream. It always used to scare the shit out of me. But
Yeah, there's have you seen the real life footage of that?
no, I might have. I think it was included in the behind the scenes. But yeah, man, cool film.
Oh, fair enough, man. I'm glad you enjoy it. I'm glad plenty of David Fincher fans enjoy it. I am. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's one of them films that I wanted like my partner to watch and sit down and watch with me, because I think she'll really love it, because she likes that investigation sort of aspect of things. But I think it's underrated in Fincher's catalogue of films, 100%. Honourable mentions. Sorry. I won't spend too long on them. Is the 1983 Michael Mann film, The Keep. If you haven't watched that, highly recommend it. You can only get it on DVD. A few bootleggers are doing it on Blu-ray, but I find it interesting because Michael Mann actually disowned the film. He won't he won't talk about the film anymore because he doesn't like it. But I think it's very confusing the first half, but it's got an amazing Tangerine Dream score. It's got Gabriel Byrne in, it's got Scott Glenn in. Who else has it got in? Oh, it's got bloody Gandalf in it. Say Ian McKellen.
Ian McKellen.
Yeah. So really,
Ellis, I've never heard of it.
The Keep. I don't imagine you have. It's because it's really hard to find anyway. It's not on any streaming platforms. The fact it's only on DVD. But if you're interested in Michael Mann, if you like films, it's interesting to see the side of Michael Mann because he's directed obviously like Heat, like Thief, other films like the Miami Vice remake, Public Enemies, like a lot of crime-based stuff. But this, The Keep, it's more the horror film. So if you ever wanted to see what a Michael Mann horror film looks like, the guy who directed Heat, The Keep is worth watching, man. Hunt it down and watch it. The other one, The Nice Guys, directed by Shane Black. I think that should have got
to see it.
5 sequels after it.
Underrated.
Underrated. It's just phenomenal. It's just like that was a film where it felt like I was watching a film from like the late 80s, early 90s. It just had that sort of brilliant chemistry between Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling. But I'd highly recommend that, watching it if you haven't seen it. And these other ones, these last two are more. Actually, no. First one, I'll put an MCU film in there. Captain America: First Avenger. I think that's quite underrated. I like that film. It's directed by the same guy who did The Rocketeer, so it's got similar vibes to that film. Pretty good. And this is an unpopular movie opinion that's sort of underrated. The Last Jedi is the best Star Wars movie in the sequel trilogy, in my opinion. Force Awakens is okay. Rise of Skywalker is like a crime against humanity. Last Jedi, I think, was the only thing that tried to do anything different in the Star Wars universe. I like the fact that it's a whole like chase scene, pretty much. If you boil it down, it's a giant chase scene. I think that's pretty epic, to be honest. It makes the Star Wars franchise like smaller in scale in what it was trying to achieve in that film. But then at the end, I think it did try and do a few things different. The only thing I won't agree with, and like if I was a Luke Skywalker diehard fan, watching Luke Skywalker chuck that lightsaber over his shoulders, no, that was just like, Jesus wept. You're trying to get this fan base not to like this franchise. Like, I think that was an error. But everything after that sort of I liked up until a certain point. But yeah,
you're giving me a headache. Stop talking before
me.
I turn the camera off.
Yeah, man.
Cool, man.
If you've got Rise of Skywalker in that list, I hope you don't. I hope that's not going to come out the woodwork.
Okay. We're not going to continue until you say sorry right now for accusing me of such filth.
I apologize.
Dude, I'm an avid Star Wars fan, and I personally am not a fan of Last Jedi. However, I will forever respect what Ryan Johnson was trying to do with that. That's his name, isn't it? Ryan Johnson? Whatever.
Ryan Johnson.
I will always respect him. I will always respect what he was going for. Not only did he do what loads of Star Wars fans wanted, people to do something different, he did what I think the franchise needed. I still don't like it, though, but I will respect the balls.
I think he spiced it up a bit, to be honest.
Spiced up with urine.
Yeah. Then J.J. Abrams came and just poured, like, I don't know, milk all over it, like fire extinguisher, just put it all out and just made the most bland, safest Star Wars movie I've ever seen in my life. I think that movie pissed me off, man. I'm not even a massive Star Wars fan.
It didn't piss me off because I didn't care. I didn't care anyway because after Last Jedi, I didn't care. I knew I wasn't going to like the next one, regardless of what it did. I'm not a fan of Last Jedi. But again, I will always respect it. Always will respect it. But hey ho, man. Yeah, those films are not any... Okay, let's continue. Mr. Badger's top 5. Let's wash the filth with something clean.
Yeah,
so yeah, number 5.
I'm stinking up the place with my shit opinions.
No, I'm talking about the shit films, the
All
shit
right,
opinions.
yeah.
Anyway, number 5, yeah, dude, Last Action Hero. I think it's remarkable, absolutely remarkable. I do not understand how it ever bombed. I do not understand how anyone thinks it's bad satire. I think it's shot well. John McTiernan is the guy who made it, who obviously made Die Hard, Die Hard 3, and Predator. And it's got his talent written all over it. Okay, it's wonderful. The cameos are great. That Sylvester Stallone joke with Terminator 2, it's freaking hilarious. All right, I screamed when I saw that as a kid. I pissed myself. The T-1000 cameo, funny as piss. Love it. It's just so bloody funny, man. And it's such a great satire on action films. The villain, played by, cannot remember his name, but he's the guy with the eye. Can't remember his name. He's a
Charles
great
Dance.
actor. There we go. He's funny as hell in it, man. Like, oh, 360, you moron. Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. I'm a fan of it. I'm a big fan of that film. I think it's actually remarkable. It's at least a 9 out of 10, at least for me. I think it's remarkable. Do not get the hatred for it at all. You're bloody insane. Number 4, we've spoken about this, so I'm not going to talk too... In fact, we've spoken a fair bit about the films coming up, so I'm going to simplify a lot of what I'm saying. But number 4 is one of the most entertaining and one of the best sequels I've ever seen, in my opinion. Predators.
Yeah. We agree
Fucking
on that
love
one.
that film. Oh yeah, love it. Again, I've said this before, I'll say it again. I get the complaints. It's very derivative of the original film. It's very similar. But I think it's understandable considering how far the franchise went off the rails with like Alien versus Predator, namely the second one. But at the end of the day, I'm a big fan of what they tried to do with it. I think it's incredibly entertaining. I love the mythology that was continued. And it's done one of those rare things where, Christ, what the hell's his name? Sorry, what's his name?
Adrian Brody.
Morpheus.
Morpheus. Lawrence Fishburne.
There we go, silly boy. Edit that, right. It also did one of those rare things where the expositional dump character, who's obviously put there just to give exposition, was awesome. I wish they used him more. His story of being stuck on that planet for he doesn't know how long, and he's lost his mind. Love it. That line where he goes like, trying to get to the edge of the edge of the preserve. Let me tell you something, there ain't no edge of the preserve. Loved it. I thought it was great. I think it's so creepy.
He does a good job of like playing like someone who's lost their mind. Do you know what I mean? Someone who's been alone too long. Really good. Really good. Can I just say, you know what? I thought about Predators when it came to my list. And I was actually going to put Predator 2 on there. I should have really had that as an honorable mention. I think that gets a lot of undeserved hate as well. I think the first 3 Predator films are all pretty good in my eyes. I think the original Predator is like pinnacle of what sci-fi horror action can be. It doesn't really get any better than that. I think it's a 10 out of 10 film, to be honest. It's a perfect movie. Predator 2 isn't a perfect movie, but I think it still keeps like the heart and soul of what the franchise is. It doesn't go totally off the rails like something like the Predator. And Predators is just like a really good evolution of the first 2 films. We've been to jungle, we've been to city. Where do we go now? Alien off-world planet. It's mint. It's class. It's good, man.
For me, Predator 2 is passable to me. I definitely don't hate it like plenty of people do. I think it's possible. I think there's loads of problems with the first half of it, but it still does expand the mythology in such a satisfying way. The Predator design is mostly cool. Even though the budget's bigger, it somehow looks a lot cheaper than the first film.
Yeah, that is interesting, isn't it? It does look cheaper, but I don't think by like a huge amount.
Yeah, there's absolutely. And the last half, the last act, the final action scenes off the building and stuff like that, I think it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, it's great.
It's fucking
Love all that stuff.
Brilliant. So yeah, I'm a fan of it. And yeah, Predators, I think, is remarkably underrated. I'm infected with that film. It's one of the most entertaining films I've ever seen. I watch it about twice a year. Love it. Number 3, It had to be there. I understand the hatred, but it still had to be there. Alien 3 had to be. Had to be. Um, so look, I get how it does feel kind of pointless. Because if you break it down, the ending of that film is the exact same ending as Aliens, except it's a lot more depressing because characters that you love are dead now. I mean, either way, the aliens lose and their existence is apparently wiped out. Either way, it has the exact same outcome. So it's just a more sadder version of it. There's some flaws in it. Obviously, the characters at the beginning, Hicks and Newt, should not have been dead. It would have been great seeing them on this prison planet. But what I do love about it is that it's a strange, artsy, non-conventional sequel that feels so weird. How you go from big and epic to small and grounded with just one alien, and it's come out of an animal now, so it has alien, animal-like features. The assembly cut is much better, but I still dig both versions. I'm in love with Alien 3. I'm in love with it. It's very flawed. It's definitely not as good as the first two, but I'm infected with it. I love it.
Alien 3, for me, it would rank higher in where I rank the Alien films if it wasn't for like the last act of the movie. That's where it
Interesting.
just totally loses me. I don't know. I think what it is for me, it's like we go from Alien, a lot of practical, Aliens, a lot of practical, then Alien 3 does this weird shift in like CGI aliens, and I hate it so much.
I know why you think that. Hold up. I actually agree with what you're saying. What you're saying is true. The effects are so much more inferior than the previous films. Yeah.
So much,
How,
like,
however,
annoyingly so.
this is where it gets weird. It's not CGI. There's only one CGI shot in that whole film of an alien, and that's when its skin gets cracked and the sprinklers go on it. At the end, that's CGI. The rest of it is fucking brilliant puppetry. The puppetry is brilliant. It's all puppetry. The problem is that when it combined the puppetry with the other scenes and they mix the two shots together, Alice, it looks like wank.
Yeah, it looks dog shit.
It does.
And like
It
if
does.
it didn't, if that part of it wasn't there with the effect, mate, I'm just a sucker for practical effects, and I think they've never
Same.
been done as well as they have in Alien and Aliens. Like the fact that they had multiple aliens in the sequel, James Cameron's sequel, and they didn't have to CGI any of it. Like the most,
Mm.
like the amount, it's like certain shots of blue screen in the second one and miniatures and stuff. But yeah, Alien 3 is a good film, man. I don't hate it, but out of the 4 films that came out pre 2000, it's the last one on my list. I'm a big fan of Resurrection, so
Mhm. Fair enough. Resurrection for me is fun. I like it. I
yeah.
do like it. But nah, I definitely prefer Alien 3. I'm in love with that film so much. I get the hatred for it though. Even I've got problems with it. I agree with everything you just said. The effects are so much worse, dude.
I think
Also,
David Fincher's got problems with it. Like,
oh yeah, I
um,
feel bad for him, man. They fucked with him so much when he made it. But he did the best he could, and I think he did pull it off. I do also want to say I think it's so freaking stupid as well. With I think they also did this in the much superior assembly cut. They always show the intro where the face hugger like gets on Ripley's face. It's like, dude, you removed the mystery. We know what the fuck's happening, you twat. It's so stupid, man. It's so dumb. But I do want to say this as well. David Toohey, who made all the Riddick films, he was originally writing the script. They had loads of people writing the script for Alien
it was
3.
it was a production job, like a proper. There was a million producers on it, a million writers, like.
Crazy.
But
Hmm.
yeah,
I'm so glad one of the ideas though did not happen though. In one of the original ideas, there was going to be hundreds of xenomorphs who stand up on top of each other and they stack up to be some great big giant alien running around destroying everything. Can you fucking imagine how bad that would have been?
that sounds fucking horrific. That sounds
Dude,
really bad.
dude, that is I cannot
I know
believe they were gonna do that.
they had a few ideas for Alien 3 that just sounded wild. I know, like, the original pitch for it was a wooden ship, so they weren't going to have, like, it was really weird. If you
Oh,
watch the behind the scenes, like, there's like
a
they've
wooden
done like
planet. It was
a
a wooden
wooden
planet
planet in
with
space
monks,
with
monks on
monks.
it. Yeah.
No,
I don't know what they were thinking. I know it was so
no, no,
silly.
no.
Yeah, makes you, even if you hate Alien 3, it makes you appreciate it more because it could
Yeah,
have been
I
so much
suppose
worse.
it could be worse.
But,
Yeah.
but still, I love it regardless. Now, this next one is number two. I just want to throw it out there dead quick. It's a film that came out recently that legit makes me feel scared for our state of movies, of our existence right now with film. So look, I do intend on reviewing it on my YouTube channel when I actually. 'Cause right now my Final Cut Pro is shut down. It's going to take a couple months before I'm able to start editing videos again. So in a few months, when I get my channel back on the go, I'm going to review this brand new film that came out on Netflix. It's called Night Ride.
All right.
I saw it recently. I'm not crazy in love with it, but it immensely impressed me. You see, there was a film that came out this year called Boiling Point, which I did review on my YouTube channel. It's the first 10 out of 10 I've given on my YouTube channel. It was this remarkable film for me, which is set in a restaurant, and it's all shot with one take, just one camera shot. It's
Is
the
it
camera
Stephen
pans with.
Graham?
That's right, mate.
Right.
Stephen
Yeah.
Graham.
I know
Now,
which one it is.
I'm personally in love with it, and I love how that long one shot take idea grounded um the film to something. It elevated it to bigger heights. Well, this new film, Night Ride, is about a drug dealer driving around a city in Ireland, and he's doing a drug run. It's his one last drug run, but it goes immensely wrong. The whole film is shot in one take, the whole film, and it follows him. It's not like Boiling Point where it's shot in one restaurant. This is shot throughout the whole city. The camera actually follows him as he's walking. Then it gets placed on the front of the car, follows him. He's driving around for 20 minutes, and he's got to improvise some lines on the spot. It's crazy, and it's all shot in one take. Crazy.
Oh, wow.
It's not the best film in the world. There's loads of problems I got with the script, but I was gripped to it. And I thought, fuck me, this is so impressive, man. It's crazy. There's even a bit in it where the police literally stop this guy. And it's not scripted. The actual police stop him, and he has to pretend to be a normal citizen. And when they're looking at the camera, they go, "So are you working tonight?" He goes, yeah, I'm working. Here's my stuff. And he's actually improvising, pretending to be a drug dealer when real life police are talking to him. You get what I mean? It's crazy. They actually have to censor out the police officer's face.
Is this a Netflix original?
That's right, it is.
Right.
Came out, I think 2 months ago it came out. And I thought it was pretty cool, man. It's like a 7.5, maybe an 8 out of 10. I thought it was great. This is where it gets me nervous for our current state of films. Dude, not to get too political about all of this stuff, man, but the reality is the industry's changing, man. Low budget films are struggling now more than ever. And they keep pumping out all these Marvel films and DC films, and rightfully so, because I'm happy with all of this. I'm happy we keep getting this. Fucking love the recent Batman film. But they keep pumping them out because they know we're going to spend money on it. We're always going to watch it. I mean, the recent Spider-Man film made over $1 billion, for crying out loud. But these low budget films, man, like, this is why films are dying out with physical media and stuff. It's all dying out. We're just not seeing enough of it. And this film should have been so immensely supported, Night Ride, because it did something crazy. It did something immensely impressive. Hardly anyone has rated it on IMDb. It's got about 500 ratings. I don't think it's made too much money. I think it has flopped. And hardly anyone's seen it. And it's like, dude, it's on Netflix. It was put in front of hundreds of thousands of people. Loads of people, millions of people have Netflix. It was put there right in front of us. No one seems to have taken the time to talk about it or give it enough praise. And that makes me nervous because I want to get involved in the industry one day. Night Ride is the exact type of film I want to make, but it looks like I'll just be losing money doing it because I'm getting nervous, dude. I want more people to see it. I want more people to support films like this and just give it some love because it is crazy what it has accomplished. It must have been a freaking nightmare making it. I want to see more of it.
It's a topic that I think we should definitely get into one day because I think it's a good, it's a question that needs like asking, definitely. I'm the first one like to admit that like I love like the MCU and I've got a lot of problems with it at the moment, which I'm not going to get into now. But like the mid-budget film is like an extinct dinosaur, and the fact that a lot of these filmmakers are going to Netflix look, I tell you what, one thing I was going to mention, Netflix, they've had a massive fuck up in the last week. They've like lost 52 billion in shares.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
That's
Yeah.
Badger, that's nuts, man. That's nuts because like put it this way, like in money terms, that's how much what you might call it, that's how much I think Disney have just bought Fox for and all their catalogue of movies, like the Alien franchise and Predator and stuff. So I don't know what that says about Netflix. I don't know whether it's a dip in quality or whatever, but I haven't had Netflix in months. I got rid of it.
Okay.
Not by choice a little bit, but I just didn't pay my subscription, so I just let it go. But I haven't missed it. I haven't missed it at all. I've still got Amazon Prime.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, man, the mid-budget movie, I don't think it's going to get any better either. I think once the superhero fatigue, which isn't happening, it's like we're like 30 years deep into like the superhero crack now. So whenever anyone says about superhero fatigue, I can't see it happening yet. But all I will say, this, like, the way Marvel are now like on the TV with Disney Plus and at the cinema, there's not much like difference in production value to me, like between these shows on Disney Plus and the movies that they're now releasing.
Yeah, pretty much. I do think we should do a serious video on this soon.
Yeah, I
Because we've
do,
got a lot to
definitely.
say about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Knight Rider's my number 2. Knight Rider's number 2. I definitely would recommend people check it out. It's impressive. Not the best film in the world, but it did something very freaking impressive and different. Never seen it done quite like that before. All done in one shot whilst they're driving around everywhere, improvising loads of scenes. I thought it was solid, and I'm a fan of it. I really hope more people show some love and respect to it, dude, because again, I want to be involved in the industry one day. And it looks like it's going to be a ridiculous uphill battle because of things like this. I'm nervous, man. And COVID has not helped.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, cool. So look, I'll give my number 1. So dude, I just want to state this real quick, so that way I don't keep repeating it in future videos I do with you. I noticed when I watched the last 2 videos that we did that I actually said this so many times. When we're talking about certain sequels, I keep saying, it's not canon. I don't think it's canon in my mind. It's not canon. And it's true. It's because there is a series of films that I think are so stupid or weird that I don't see them as canon. I see them as expensive fan fiction. So I do want to say this real quick, because it does relate. Alien Resurrection, I'm a fan of. I like it. I have fun with it. But I'm never gonna see it as canon. Never. I cannot watch the first Alien film and believe one day Ripley's gonna get cloned and the atmosphere is gonna get this silly and goofy. Can't do it. Alien versus Predator, I'm a fan of that as well. Like you, I'm a fan. There's no way it's canon. I'm never watching Alien or Predator and believing this shit happened. I just can't. Nor do I think the filmmakers even intended on that. Not really. I think whatever. Alien vs. Predator Requiem didn't happen, by the way. I don't know why everyone hates it. I don't hate it because it didn't fucking happen. I despise it. The Predator. I don't see that as canon at all. I have a bit of a laugh with it every now and again. Rambo is especially one of them as well. The first ever Rambo film, I think, is a legit masterpiece that has a serious anti-war message in it. It's an action film where only one person dies in it accidentally. And it ends with the hero breaking down crying. It's crazy. It was this powerful, agonizing film, and then the next 2 films decide to make them like action comedies that promote war. No. I delete them in my head and I move straight on to Rambo 4. I have fun with it, and then Rambo 5 didn't happen. So it's things like that that keep on happening. Real quick, another example is the Omen sequels that we were talking about.
Oh, yeah.
So I do like them, like, to an extent. I prefer the third one, I think, to the second one. But it's ridiculous how fast Damien ages. In just a few years, he turns into a 30-year-old man. It's like, I don't understand how. It's so stupid. If you watch the timeline,
Is he the president in the third one?
No, he's not the president, but he is of a big company, Thorn Industries or something.
Right.
And
Right.
I think they've all got good concepts and they're entertaining, but I cannot buy that somehow in like less than 10 years he's aged like 30 odd years or something. It's like how? It's just this weird retcon where they keep deleting things. So it's the same that goes with some of them. I don't see them as canon because of how shit they are. For example, Independence Day 2, that didn't happen. Ignore that. Jeepers Creepers 3, suck my ass. Spider-Man 3, I didn't think was canon till No Way Home made it canon. Ugh. So
Yeah, man.
look, my also the Saw sequels aren't canon, and the prequel to John Carpenter's The Thing is not canon. I just can't see them as canon because of how stupid they are, or just how they contradict the original. It's like, oh, just fuck off. That's what I keep saying in the original videos, in the original videos I've done with you. The reason why I had to preface all of that and go on that long monologue there is to state that I do not believe that any sequel that came out after Terminator 2 is canon. So after Terminator 2, apparently they deleted the future and all that, but then Terminator 3 says, no, you just postponed it. Somehow you erasing Skynet has actually postponed it somehow, and now it's come back the exact same as it did before. Dude, it's just they just cheated the mythology. It's fucking stupid. I can't stand what they did. So none of all of this that they've done is canon. It ends at Terminator 2 and we are finished. But that being said, as expensive fan fiction, when I turn my brain off, I have a serious laugh with Terminator Salvation. And there is a reason why I specifically waited to buy it on 4K. Because it did so much right that I wanted that special shit looking beautiful on my 65-inch TV. It has great effects, the CGI effects are brilliant, there's loads of practical effects that the legendary Stan Lee brought to the table. Loads of great miniature work. I also like how grounded it is toward the end because instead of a big epic explosion fuckfest, we got a fight with just one Terminator, and I loved
Yes.
it. I loved it. It was so grounded. It's like shit. We're going back to Terminator 1 days, man. You give me some of this. Granted, that Terminator was a bit too overpowered with how he could survive all the ice and all of the heat, the molten lava shit. Still, I laugh with it. The characters are solid. A lot of the action scenes are really, really, really freaking cool. I'm a fan of it. I like it. It's stupid. It's got a stupid plot. I do not understand how loads of it's possible. I do not know how Skynet somehow know that Kyle Reese is John Connor's dad. Somehow they know that. I think it's very strange. I also think it's really strange that they know that Kyle Reese is John Connor's dad and they don't just kill Kyle Reese, effectively killing John Connor. It's such a silly plot. I don't get it. It's all so silly. And their plan to kill John Connor is to have just one Terminator when they could have a whole army. Dude, it's such a silly thing.
I think the worst bit about the film is the story, like the story aspects of it. But
Yeah.
as
With that being
far
said,
as I'm concerned, that's it.
yeah, that was they were trying to do a trilogy with that, and I want the second and third one to that thing. I also loved Christian Bale in it, but I do think Nick Stahl from Terminator 3 would have been better to have him back. But whatever, I'm a fan. I really like it. It's a silly plot. I don't know how any of this shite is possible after Terminator 2. I don't get any of it. It's stupid. But it's fun. It's a
Terminator
solid film, man.
Salvation's always the DVD or Blu-ray that's in the charity shop. So every time I go into a charity shop, Terminator Salvation's always there. Yeah, it's I don't get it, man. Like I'd like to know what people don't like about it. That's my big thing. Like, why do you think that one's so superior to Dark Fate or Genesis? Like
Inferior. Yeah, yeah.
inferior, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's a good film. It's a good film. I like Christian Bale in it. The only person who I'm a bit like is Sam Worthington because they were trying to make him such a lead actor at that time. When did this come out? 2009.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like they were trying to make him a thing. I think Avatar came out a year after or a year before.
Year before.
Yeah, he was in like a slew of films, but he's not a bad actor. It was just there was that thing of just like, oh, let's put him in like 3 films a year for the next 4 years, and hopefully he'll become like the next leading man. and it just never happened. Like, I think it's going to be interesting to see when Avatar comes out and Sam Worthington's going to be your lead actor.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I've got a funny feeling though, when the film does actually come out, it's actually going to be, is it Zoe Saldana? She's actually going to be the lead of that film. I think that's what's going to happen there. But yeah, Terminator Salvation, quality little number, I think. I've rewatched.
Just
you know
dead
what I
quick,
really appreciate about
go
it.
on.
Sorry, Badger. Is
Go on.
so in my review of Terminator Dark Fate, one of the aspects I didn't like about it is how the Terminators looked in the future. They look terrible, like the squid sort of like that's nightmare fuel to me when it comes to Terminators. Like, that's not what a Terminator is. I know they can probably evolution into that, but I think they did a good job of, in Salvation, some of the newer Terminator designs that we did get. I thought they were really, really effective. Like the one bit where you're first introduced to Kyle Reese, who's played by Anton
Yelchin.
That's the one, the late great Anton Yelchin.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when you first introduce him, and there's that like scene where there's like a Terminator like in the middle of the road, but he's a much more bulkier version of
Say it, please say it. Continue. I was going to say this. Go on.
Yeah, but I think that's amazing. I think that's a great like design of the Terminator in the future.
No, hold up. There's something that you've missed. I thought you were going to say something else. Do you remember the line in the first Terminator? Obviously, the Arnold Schwarzenegger's model number is T800. Kyle Reese said a line to Sarah Connor that I thought was terrifying. He said, "The 600 series had rubber skin. We spotted them easy." The 600 series, the T600.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, you can see melted.
Oh, right. That's mint. And that's a great callback then.
That right there is yet again Stan Lee's brilliance. He came up with that idea.
And you can Stan Lee or Stan Winston?
God, I'm such a moron. Yeah, I said Stan Lee earlier. I meant Stan Winston. Yeah, what a dumbass.
I didn't want to interrupt you like halfway through your flow, man.
No, you should have. Dude. Yeah, okay. So yeah, sorry, Stan Winston. That's his genius. Moron. Yeah, that's Stan Winston's brilliance. Yeah, you can see melted rubber on it, and you can also tell why they spotted them so easily because of how big and bulky the thing was.
Yeah, so good, man, so good. And I know I've just been saying like, oh, I didn't like the squid Terminators in the Dark Fate, but there's that scene, isn't there, where the like Terminators are like underground, and like these like they're like giant scorpions basically in Terminator Salvation, where like the tail comes out the ground. There's like a great scene where she's in some water. I can't remember what character it is, but like the tail comes out. It reminded me of Aliens, to be honest, where the alien comes out of the water. But yeah, it's good stuff, man.
I'm gonna blow your mind when I tell you something else in a second. But yeah, go on.
Didn't love the color palette through the film. It's one thing I'm a bit like, could be a bit more popping.
The 4K helps, by the way.
I'm gonna get the 4K. I'm just gonna get the 4K because it deserves it, man.
But, yeah, it does, because it's such a good looking movie. But I'm gonna blow your mind. Do you know what the original ending was gonna be? Oh,
no,
okay, dude.
But I think I do know, but go on.
No, I think it's actually really clever. I'm glad they didn't do it. I'm glad. But talk about thinking so far outside of the box in a positive way. The reason why Sam Worthington was pushed so far forward is because at the end, do you remember when John Connor got impaled?
Oh, yeah.
Well, originally he was going to die. John Connor was going to die.
And they were going to have Sam Worthington be the lead going forward.
Sam Worthington was going to remove John Connor's skin and wear John Connor's skin, effectively keeping John Connor's mythology alive. Meaning that he was going to replace John Connor. He was going to be John Connor, but it explains why John Connor knew so much about Terminators, because he himself was a Terminator and no one else knew about it. I think that's a cool idea. It's so weird and abstract, it's fucking strange, but here's what sucks about it. It makes the original films redundant because he was never the leader. It makes them redundant.
I don't know how I feel about that idea. Kid. I think
it's cool. It's iffy.
I think they did it better in Face Off.
Yeah, okay, yeah, fair. I agree with I didn't even think of that. Yeah, but I think it's a cool idea. But I'm glad they didn't do it. It would have made it so redundant. The original films, it would have made them so redundant. It would have done that because they would have just been protecting a kid rather than the actual leader.
Another thing that I didn't like
it.
about Terminator Salvation, there's a lot I do love about it, by the way, but I didn't love the score. I think the score was a bit like, I think Danny Elfman come and done the score for it, and it was just, they used like the one motif like once, and it was like on an acoustic guitar, and it was supposed to be dead like sad, but nah. I think the score from the first one, I can't remember what he's called, Brad Fidel or something, but it's like a pinnacle score, like the motif is like iconic. They should have kept that one going, but yeah, quality film, mate. Quality film.
Yeah, I like it. Salvation is a solid film. Again, don't see it as canon, but I'm still an avid fan. It's an awesome piece of expensive fan fiction. I had to get it on 4K. Those awesome effects needed to be appreciated. Had to be done.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna get it on 4K. Definitely, 100%.
Yeah, go for it, man. Go for
it, mate. I think that's about it. If you've got any more.
Well, I got an overrated list, but I'm not of unpopular opinions. But we'll be going on about that one for a while, especially when you factor in how much I'll fuck everyone off with it. I'll piss you off as well because Zodiac's in it. I'm sorry, dude.
We can go through that list if you want to go through it. It's just I haven't made my own list of unpopular opinions. Not yet, anyway. But we can go through yours if you want.
Nah, dude, we'll save it for another episode when we've got plenty to say then, because I want you to contribute to that as well. But I'm going to piss off many people, including you, dude. I'm going to piss off people. It's not even films I despise, by the way. It just means I'm so far away from the fan base, if you know what I mean. And, it's going to be a hard list for me. I don't think I've got any wild, unpopular opinions. Oh, I do.
I don't know. I think mine's set in what with like the majority. And to be honest, it's just felt like my unpopular opinions are just films that I don't like. That I suppose that was underrated though. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna say which one it is. I'm not gonna say which one. But dude, about less than a month ago, I watched a film, and you posted it on your Instagram recently praising it, and it is very well praised. It's a very well praised film. I saw it for the first time, less than a month ago. Alice, I hated it. I hated it so much. I was ridiculously bored, and I will tell you what it is in the next video, big man.
Is it Midsummer by any chance?
Nope, I did not hate that film, although I was disappointed by it.
I need to know this film now. We'll get there. We'll save it, man. Right. Anyway.
I tell you what the reference is, by the way, speaking of Midsummer, there is a coincidence because both of them involve a film. Both of them have a scene where a man is on fire. Man on fire.
Oh, what, you think that's overrated?
I hated it so much.
But that's, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I was going for that in my little write-up of it. Like, I do think it's overrated, to be honest.
Yeah, but I hate it. That's the thing.
I don't hate it, but I think it's really overrated. I think it's one of the, I don't know, Tony Scott, the director, his style in that film give me like whiplash. It was just like, oh, not for me.
Yeah, you said it yourself, Max Payne 3. It was just like that video game.
Yes, just like it. Exactly. Do you know what I mean by that? Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, totally. God, yeah. I didn't think anyone was gonna get that, but yeah, man.
But, I did.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Max Payne, dude. I know exactly what you're talking about with that one. Hell yeah.
Yeah, just off topic, they've recently announced that they're doing I don't think it's a remaster. I think it's a remaster of the first 2 games, but I think they're literally redoing them like what they did with Resident Evil.
That's fine. Okay, cool. I got worried that I thought they were going to do another Max Payne film. I was going to say, don't do this to me.
No. The games, man. The games. And I did play them Max Payne games. Like, my gaming days were a bit, not over. I only play games few and far between now, ones that interest me. Like, I think the last game I played was The Last of Us Part 2, and that was like a couple of years ago at this point. But, yeah, mate.
Hey, good one to end on, I guess. Yeah. I'm a fan of those games. Yeah, fair enough, man. We'll save it for the next video where I'm gonna anger people.
Yeah. We'll be back in maybe next week or the week after to piss off a load of more people. Pause. But yeah, this has been Total Movie Recall. Thank you, Badger. Thanks for coming on, mate. Right, cool. See everyone later. See you next time.
Take care, people. Woo!
Bye bye.